Yo, yo, yo. Another Wednesday, another episode of The Boyd. Yes, coming to you live from the Shop Studios here in Jacksonville, Florida. You know, we are broadcasting straight from North Florida, Jacksonville. Got Josh Krafchick with me again. Had an impromptu session yesterday. And glad to have him back. Hold on, let me cue the camera. Hopefully it'll all work out. Yesterday we had some pretty cool topics. Talked about some money stuff. People are always interested in money. And I think we answered some questions and whatnot. Glad to have you back, by the way.
Yeah,
Josh.
glad to be here.
Awesome.
2 nights in a row.
That's right. That is right. All right, let's see. As always, I have Seprock Beats. What do we have tonight? Tonight was sort of a funky track, side B17, I think it's what it's called, on the Sunken City release, double LP album, instrumental album from Sunken City Records. For Seprock Beats. Yep, that's Giuseppe Catania. That's my boy from high school. Introduced me to a lot of aspects of hip hop. It's a pretty cool dude. All right, so here we are. Welcome back again.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, sorry.
The Shop Studios.
Yeah, the Shop Studios making shit work. The budget.
Where the sawdust is real.
Yeah, and the oh damn, left the beers from me. We didn't clean up. Yeah. So welcome back. We I don't know. We don't really have a specific topic in mind. We talked a little bit about the millennial slacker movement that Josh has put together, right. And I think he talked about. You said there was 5 main. I think it was 5 main.
Yeah.
Tenets,
so
right?
Business, money, health, relationships is what we focus on. Because if you can do well in business, you'll have money. If you have money, you should be able to afford good food and healthy habits. And as well as having solid relationships with people in your life to really be hitting on full cylinders if you really want to have your wealth growing at a rate that is higher than if you just focus on one individually. So if you're focusing on all aspects of your life, it'll get you where you want to be faster than if you just focus on money, which is the result of forming good habits.
Well, I think when that sort of zeal to try to find an edge to try to make the people already struggling to make ends meet, and people are trying to find like how to be. They see there's people out there that are more successful in whatever way they define that. Some people it could be that they make more money. Some people could be that they have more freedom.
Yep.
Excuse me. So those are two very different things.
Right.
Right. Because I think people confuse that money might give them freedom, but it's what they do for the money that might take their freedom.
Well, everyone says if they win the lottery, it would change their lives. Like, well, what would it change?
Yeah.
Most of those people are miserable. So, as they say, more money, more problems. So that's just going to cause more issues.
Well, I don't think it has to, but you're right. There is the whole curse of the lottery, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, I feel like no matter what, if I won the lottery, it'd be a blessing.
Of course.
So I remember talking about it in class, though, about, I don't remember why exactly. Maybe it was annuity stuff. Must have had to have. It's been so long since I taught the class, but I used to talk about the people that that won the lottery and their life was ruined. Right. But and I sort of came to the realization, and I tried to share to the class, like was it the lottery that ruined their life, or was their life already shit, and then you just sprinkled money on top? You know what I mean?
It's a person like, oh, I didn't win the lottery today.
Yeah, it's
that glass
I don't
is
know.
half
Yeah,
full.
their life was.
It's a person that you ask how they're doing. They always say not bad.
Yeah. Well, I always say until now. I guess until recently. Yeah.
Does that mean good?
Yeah. No, not necessarily. No.
What's not bad? It's the opposite. Bad is good, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just not bad, so it's not necessarily opposite. It's just not that it's excluding. You see what I mean? Bad. That's why I look at it. So, no, it's not necessarily good. It doesn't necessarily.
It's just one of those things that
the antithesis.
Someone says not bad. It's kind of
not bad. I'm not good.
It's like when someone says, "How you been?" Busy.
I'm not like.
I've been busy. What does that mean?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you that you're so busy.
Yeah, I mean, but I understand it because, I've been through some pretty shit times where I'm busy working and getting nowhere, and for years. I
don't call it busy. I call it hustling.
Yeah, you can call it hustling, but sometimes you feel like when you're hustling,
sometimes it's okay to disconnect from people. Listen, my bad. I needed some time to figure my life out. Yeah. Let's go get a beer or lunch.
Right.
Or you just ran into people at random events in town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Didn't know I was talking about
commerce events and stuff like that. What's up? Superfan Chris is on YouTube. Looks like we got some folks on Facebook. Looks like Daniel's on. What's up, Daniel? Danny Journey again joining me. I went to high school with him too. He knows Seppi. Sep Rock Beats, that's the guy. So if you remember him, Daniel, you remember Sep Rock Beats. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. By the way, be sure, looks like we have one unique individual in the billions of individuals on this earth who is on Facebook. Make sure if that's Daniel, make sure to stay active in the live comments because we are checking them out. And Superfan Chris, make sure you're jumping in. Looks like we got another person on with us on YouTube, which is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally. So make your presence known. Let us know what's up. Any questions out there? Anything interesting to you guys? One thing that I want to, I guess, bring up is No, I should like this. Is like, I noticed that there was a lot of interest in stuff we were talking about, especially money stuff.
Yeah, money's a big thing.
And I think there were some other tidbits and people are trying, like we were talking about, people are hustling and trying to find the edge to try to become more successful. And you got people like Gary Vee.
Yeah, Gary Vee is huge.
Guys like that. And people are like hungry for this, like, tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. And like, I'm dying, and at the risk of becoming that, what is it? What do you think? What do you think's, I guess, I feel like I know what's motivating it, but maybe you articulate that. What's pushing this sort of like the popularity of this self-help type stuff?
Well, it's because people don't have direction on where to go. Money is the result. But if you think about any sort of, we use the iPod versus the Zune.
Oh yeah,
remember the Zune?
Mm-hmm. I had a Zune.
Zune was way better than the iPod, but the iPod marketed it as 1,000 songs in your pocket, and that was very captivating and cool to people. And obviously, the Zune does not exist anymore. You come out of like college or high school, you're like, yeah, screw it, I can do the way I want to. I want to make money. I'm gonna do it my way. But money is the result. You got to figure out what the purpose is to get you where you want to be. So if I asked you anyone's mission who's super successful, like Oprah, her vision was never to be a billionaire. It was to share her voice with the world. Way more powerful.
Yeah,
it's like, I want to be a billionaire. Why?
And the billionaire will come.
If you if you serve a strong enough purpose, you can will it into existence. But if you are someone who's a pretender, you become middle class America, making some dough, live in a nice house.
I don't know. I feel like there's some pretenders out there.
Oh, there's lots of pretenders
that are making a lot of money, too.
They say they're making a lot.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe. I mean, it's relative. What does a lot of money mean?
What is a lot of money?
Multi-millions
a year.
Yeah, at least $1 million a year.
$1 million a year.
There are charlatans out there. I feel like that are making at least $1 million.
But if you make $1 million a year in your W-2 versus
not W-2
versus if you're $1 million in business owner, that's completely different.
But what if you're a business owner and you're charlatan?
So a pretender.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person that has like the man in the high castle.
I guess that's a con artist. In other words,
artist.
If you're not really serving somebody, then
it's the
you're
person
really
whose business never, hit a level and it stays there for 20 years. It never breaks through because they're just like, oh, this is as good as it's going to get.
Oh, I see.
As you said, tripping over dollars to pick up dimes.
Right.
So, I mean, you got to spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really believe in something, you should be willing to put all of your money into it.
Well, I mean, you still have to hedge your risk or something. I mean, right?
Look at Colonel Sanders, KFC.
True, but what's the percentage odds of that being successful though? Right?
I mean,
so you have to factor that in too, right?
It's better than chances than winning the lottery.
Maybe. Is it really?
Lottery is 1 in 13 million?
Your background is in actuarial science.
Yeah.
So is it more likely that you will create a business making more than $1 million a year, or for you to win the lottery? Because there's a lot of attempts.
Create a business out there. Yeah. That makes $1 million a year exponentially higher than winning the lottery. Exponentially higher. 1 in 13. Yeah. How small is 1 in 13 million?
Yeah, but I mean, how many attempts to make
how many people actually try though?
Well, how many? Yeah, exactly. A lot of attempts, I think. Are there not?
Well, I mean,
or maybe
just describe an attempt. Oh, you try for 6 months. You're like,
oh. Well, I guess sure. Right,
versus like I'm in it till I'm dead.
Mm.
Either I make it or I don't. Get rich, die trying. 50 Cent.
I think a lot of people are missing something in their life that gives them that level of purpose to where they.
I mean, that's why people go to things like religion. They want to be part of a community.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't question religion. That has a very strong purpose. There's a very strong why. You need to have the same sort of purpose and why in what you're doing. in order to get the result that you want, which is freedom, success, whatever that might be.
Yeah, whatever that might be. All right, let's see.
Like Jesus has a very defined purpose. Everyone knows what Jesus' purpose is, for the most part.
I wonder that sometimes anymore.
Well, people who have, that
I don't
belief,
claim to know, so I don't
claim to know either. I'm just saying,
can't,
people who believe in that thing, they know his purpose, and it's very strong. You don't even have
they
to
make
explain
claims that they do. Yes, indeed. Something like that. I feel like I don't crowd you too much, but I feel like I'm cutting myself out of here. And someone's gonna
yell at me.
Even though this is supposed to really be a audio podcast,
we got visuals.
Oh, these aren't these uncomfortable chairs?
Oh, these are the worst chairs I might have ever sat on.
Yeah, like I said,
this is almost as bad as sitting on Santa's lap in the mall. Almost, not quite. And being Jewish, it was always a little weird for sitting on Santa's lap.
Touche, huh?
He's like, I look at him, I go, you never bring me anything for Christmas. He goes, are you a good boy? I go, yeah, I'm a good Jewish boy. He goes, oh, that's why. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean?
The mystery's been solved. Yeah. The mystery has been solved. Yeah, I'm just trying to All right. Let's see. Oh man, we had a whole bunch of folks for a second there on our Facebook feed, and I was hoping we could get some folks to tell us what is on their mind in relation to what we just talked about. I mean, maybe aside from the, I don't need any. Well, I mean, I guess if you also want to share some details about your Santa lap experiences too, you can throw that in there as well.
I'm not allowed to go into further detail than I already have.
I was gonna say, hopefully it wasn't harder than this seat.
It might have been. I can't remember.
God, jeez. All right,
that was a long time ago.
Superfan Chris says, "Okay, so when is this looming crash supposed to happen, or is this just propaganda, quote unquote?" Propaganda.
Well,
so
what does a crash define? Are we thinking like 1920s depression, like 50%?
Yeah,
people living in poverty on the streets. Kids working in sweatshops.
Yeah, please elaborate, Superfan Chris.
Or even like the recession 10 years ago wasn't even that bad of a crash in hindsight. It was very quick, like pull off the Band-Aid. It came in, it came out.
Well, I guess it depends on from what perspective, though. It's like from a wage perspective, not really from a worker perspective, but from the business perspective, sort of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to be able to know how to take advantage of that, and I don't think most people are really wise to that.
Well, most people aren't paying attention, and a lot of people
don't know what to pay attention to.
Because people want to do it themselves and think they're smart, and they don't want to pay for a professional to do it who can take advantage of those opportunities. Because people are self-righteous and think they can do everything, but we're not. We can't be jacks of all trades. Even the best people in the world have coaches. But if you were to look at the 10 and the 2,
I think that's a tough concept for people to
have a coach.
For a lot of people to really digest the fact that they won't be the best at everything. Especially like.
Why would you want to be? Would you rather be really good at one thing or like mediocre at 20 things?
Well, it would be nice, I guess, to be a specialist to something. I mean, it can be dangerous to be a specialist.
It could be dangerous.
And I wonder too. I've always felt like a jack of all trades, but there's a saying. There's more to that saying though, and I can't remember what it was. It's jack of all trades, master of none, but a jack of all. Oh, damn it! How's it go? It's a whole poem.
Listen, I don't want to be good at everything because it's usually not worth my time. You could find someone else to do something.
Yeah, see, I started realizing that more and more.
Like, do you clean your own car?
I mean, I do, but would I pay a detailer? Yeah, because they do it better.
They're going to do it better and faster, and you can get work done at the same time.
Okay, here it goes. The complete saying. I'll put it on the. Well, I'll just read it. It's not that big a deal. I was going to swap it out.
Like multitasking is a huge skill.
Yeah, I can't. I'm hard at. Well, the people on that watch the show know that I'm not very good at multitasking. In fact, I'm going to try to do it right now.
We're going to see an attempt at some multitasking right now.
So the saying goes, In fact, here, I'll give you guys a piece of, let me see if I can make this work.
Oh,
There might be some infinity screen going on. Oh, I can't. All right, hold on. Here's infinity screen. Let me do this. Here we go. The saying goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oft times better than a master of one. Right. So, I don't know. It's I've run into a situation where, like, if it's tough to make money if you're not specialized. You know what I mean? But if you specialize, that can be dangerous.
Well, people have asked me, what do you specialize in? I look at them and
so that's the thing
you got to educate people that people in money business, the only thing they specialize in is who they market to. Because someone's like, oh, I'm a specialist in doctor benefits. Is a doctor's money different than your money? It's all the same money. Now, is there a situation could be more complicated if they make a lot more? Absolutely. But your money and my money is worth the same to you as it's worth to me. Whether you have $10 or $10 million, it's all worth the same to that person.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean,
it's all perspective.
However you acquired it.
It's like someone might think $100,000 a year is a lot of money, and someone be like, yeah, $100,000 is nothing.
Well, I think there is something deep somewhere in here, because, for instance, let's tie it. Hold on, hopefully I can loop this all back. Because Superfan Chris says, and he's going to quote Robert Kiyosaki here, but I think
good quote.
But I think we before the show, and so I'll loop you guys in. Before the show, we were talking about how really the opposite sort of is true. So here we go. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep.
This is true.
But what does that mean, though? We were just talking about if you have more money, then a lot of times, well, when you make more money, a lot of times you don't have the money, right, or something.
You pay a lot in taxes.
Well, we were talking about.
So W-2 employee who makes a W-2 employee that makes $1 million a year is going to be forced to pay more taxes than someone who's a business owner that makes $1 million a year.
Oh yeah.
Because the business owner is going to have deductions. W-2, you're entitled to none as an employee. So you pay more taxes.
Yeah, you just have stuff like your mortgage.
So if you make $1 million a year and you spend $1 million a year, technically you make zero. If you make $10,000 a year and you save $8,000, you make $8,000 a year. So that's what Robert Kiyosaki is saying. But his whole idea is more debt is less than taxes. So accumulate debt, even if it's at a high interest rate, call it 15% interest rate. You don't have to make that much money to be higher than 15% on your tax bracket. So weigh those options.
I see.
So even if the spread's only 5%, 5% is 5%. Compound 5% over 30, 40 years of life, it can be a lot of money.
Yeah, it turns into a lot of money.
Yeah.
Daniel Jernigan says, I don't know exactly. Okay, so let me just preface something. Facebook people, if I were you, I would go to the YouTube channel, because let me tell you why. The Facebook comments don't really update very live. So I don't really know what you're talking about, Daniel. It has to do with trust, he says. So I don't know.
What's it say?
He says something has to do with trust. Hold on.
Hard to trust someone with your money because so many people are crooked.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it must have been about maybe.
Well, why do people give their money to companies that get fined millions of dollars a year and trust those companies?
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. Why is that? Because, it's safe. I see the commercial.
Yeah, it's propaganda.
Propaganda.
That's what it is. Well, PR.
But you can't live your life in fear.
Synonymous.
That's why it's like you go on dates with people and, test the waters. You can date multiple professionals before you find one and make a decision. It doesn't have to be like the first ones you meet, you go with.
Well, one thing I learned at Fidelity, and this is kept with me, and not that I made it up, but it's just kept with me, is if you don't have the will, skill, or time to manage your money, then have someone else do it. It's like that with anything. I've realized with anything. In fact, you can make a business of anything because you just need to find something that people do or don't do because they don't have the will, skill, or time to do that thing. It could be cleaning toilets. It could be managing money. It could be building high-rise buildings. It could be creating steel ingots. It could be anything because someone else doesn't have the will, skill, or time to do it, but it's something that needs to be done. Boom. You figured out. You don't even have to invent something. You just figure out something that you don't mind doing that someone else doesn't have the will, skill, or time to do, and you go do it. Now, even better, what we were talking about before about not being the specialist. Right. So you think of this thing that people don't have the will, skill, or time to do, and then you what? Hire the specialist that does know how to do the thing that people don't have the will, skill, or time to do. And then you have them do it, and then you take some spread off of what you charge the customer versus how much this guy's doing the task.
It's like office space.
You know what I mean? Like that. Boom! You've just created a business.
You don't have to make 100% of every dollar.
No, 10%. Richest man in Babylon. Take 10%.
You give 10%. You let your employees keep 90. You treat them well. You give them a good life.
Right. If only everybody just followed that rule or that type of
that's philosophy. Why Costco's been so successful.
Right.
They pay everyone at least $20 an hour.
Yeah.
That's a good wage.
Yeah.
For a pretty cush job. You're inside.
There you go. Right. And you have access
to free samples all the time.
Yeah, right.
All the samples you want.
And you know all the cool shit that they got. Superfan Chris says you never want to be the best just by yourself. You want to be the best at what you do and have a mastermind group to assist you in becoming even greater. Just my opinion. JMO, he says. I mean, I think that's just my opinion.
Yeah, just my opinion.
Of course, that's the whole point of a mastermind, right?
Look at any
hive mind.
You can use a sports analogy. You can use a business analogy. You can use a, I
mean, it's
anything.
Almost obvious in front of all of us, like all the time. But I think. Well, what do you think it is that stops people from seeing that kind of thing?
Control. They don't like giving up control. People like being in the driver's seat, but by being in the driver's seat, you're focusing on just moving forward versus looking around you. You could be like driving through, I don't know, Grand Canyon. You're driving through the Grand Canyon, but you're just looking forward. You're like, oh, look, this is a Grand Canyon. Like, look left, look right. There's all these opportunities, but you're missing them because you're consumed. You're so consumed that your way is the only way. But then you see other people that have the same businesses. You're like, why are we not more successful than them? We have a better product. Well, it's because someone is narrow-minded and won't hire employees or pay them better or take money out of their pocket and put it into the business.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could look at any entrepreneur, you go on Shark Tank, they look at people, and if they pay themselves like a salary of more than like anything above their means, they're like, oh, you're not taking money and putting it back into business. They all automatically said no deal. They're like, oh, you must not believe in it.
Yeah. Like if you're not putting the money from the business back into the business, why should I put money from my businhave?
If you're not willing to put your money into your business, why should I put my money into your business?
Right. You should have that. So for all you entrepreneurs out there, have that mindset. Like if you think you're going to build a business and you want to like rack up shareholders or you want to raise capital for it, if you haven't invested your all in it, then why would someone else invest even a little bit of what they worked for in it? Right? I mean, that's sort of what we're saying, right? Superfan Chris says control and ego.
Ego's
well,
huge.
and I've watched. You're familiar with the Marcus Lemonis show, right? On
no,
CNBC,
I'm not.
The Prophet.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I just got what was that? I just heard a sound. I don't know if you guys out in podcast world heard a sound, but what does that mean? I'm intrigued. Maybe someone's trying to reach out to us. The reason I'm intrigued so much is because I want to make sure that if someone's trying to get in touch.
There's a comment. Or someone joined. I don't know.
But we have 5 very unique people in all of the billions of people in the world on YouTube.
All the billions of people in the world.
Watching right now. 2 people, unique people out of the billions of people. How many? Is there billion or a billion? How many?
There's billions.
Billions.
I think China has I think China and India both have a billion now.
Billion each.
Or close.
Out of the billions, including China and India, which they would have no business watching the Void. Why would they even? I don't have any hashtags that would include, would just specifically target them. So I don't know that. Anyway, I still count them, and you're all still unique. Oh, someone said something. Here we go. All right. We got Daniel jumped on instead of Facebook. See, I'm telling you, man, the comments go faster this way. Okay, so Brandon. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Superfan Brandon. Well, what's up, Superfan? Yeah, I don't know if he earns. Yeah, he's OG. He's been on the show, the original show. OG Brandon Riff. Time is an investment too. Sometimes more so than money. What's your
time
opinion?
is money.
Yeah. What's your opinion about that?
Well, we went to the Dali Museum this past weekend, and Dali always drew his clocks melted and sideways because time is always constant and it's always moving. That was one of his artistic symbols in all of his art, is having clocks melted because time is always constant and moving. So every time you spend something that you could have someone else be doing, like let's, for example, cleaning your house. Everyone's got to keep a clean house. You could hire someone else to clean your house, or you can do it yourself. Is it really worth your time to do, or should you pay someone maybe $100, $150 to clean your house?
Right. Especially, I mean, I guess
But most people are like, oh, I don't make that much money. I can't afford. You're putting into your head that you can't afford it. Because you think that you live, this lifestyle, versus if you go in my mind, yeah, maybe I don't have the money now, but I'm going to go hustle. Put that money out there, then you are leveraging yourself and putting that out into the universe.
Well, yeah, and I think too that people don't really think about opportunity cost as far as their time opportunity cost, as much as their labor and wage opportunity cost. So what am I saying? Let me speak in normal terms. So opportunity cost is a financial term, meaning that I would have had an opportunity to do something else instead of the thing.
Like I'm going to go to the bar instead of the gym.
Bam. Opportunity cost is?
You got gains at the bar by drinking.
Bam.
Versus gains at the gym by lifting weights.
Different type of cost. You see what I mean? So, for instance, an opportunity cost could be I'm investing in stock X instead of stock Y. If I would have invested in stock Y, I would have made more money, but I invested in stock X. But I guess another really big one would be something like I want to invest in something so super safe that I'm not going to lose anything. So something like a risk-free investment, right? Risk-free investment.
Like the government?
Like the government. So
that would be risk-free.
Risk-free. like, because if the
quote unquote
the United States defaulted on debt, they would just basically show up with
people
guns.
would be out with their torches and pitchforks out in the streets.
I mean, they can try, but what if we defaulted on our debt? Basically said, it's China, I know we owe you a bunch of money for these like treasuries and stuff, but look, I'll pay you next Tuesday. But don't call me until then, right? See it. And then, block their number. And then you would go grab your military and be like, yeah, I don't know you. Go away. Stranger danger.
Stranger danger.
And then bam. Now China is like, whoa, where's my money at? And you're like, I don't know you. Gone. And we could do that because we have lots of guns. So
that's true. Our Navy's bigger than all the navies
right
combined.
Yeah. So what are you going to do about it? I mean, do we want to be like that as Americans? Does that matter to us? I don't know. Maybe we don't give a shit.
We do love flyovers.
We like flyovers. We like to show people. I mean, imagine if like you had a kid who's sort of a pipsqueak and a really big kid did like a flyover which basically like showed the fist in their face, like, yeah. Like, would you be happy about that? That your kid was getting, and then, you know, they walk away after they steal their lunch money and their oil. I don't know. Maybe we were fine with that. Seem to have a lot of anti-bullying things. I think that's why people are so sort of not psychotic, but like they don't know what to think anymore. It's like if you tear someone's consciousness in half, that's what like is happening right now. It's like, because it's like stuff like, oh, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and don't judge a book by its cover.
Branding.
It's like, which one is it?
It's like you're branding yourself,
right.
And it's permanent. Like you can never change.
Right.
It's like, you're fat, you're always going to be fat. You're stupid, you're always going to be stupid. Versus you can get in shape, you can learn.
Oh yeah. I mean, so
there's certain things that are, there's certain things you can't change.
It drives people neurotic, I think, or like this notion that you can hustle and you'll make it. And some people just
but you can't hustle flipping sneakers, making $200 at a time.
I mean, there's some people that make some money messing with sneakers, but that's the thing. It's like there's levels to that shit.
There's different levels.
As the great philosopher Meek Mill has taught us, that there are levels indeed to this.
Also,
shit.
Avicii, levels.
Yes, indeed.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's right. Because sometimes I just get a good feeling.
Oh, sometimes.
All right, let's see. What are we seeing here in the commentary?
Well, we got some commentary.
So time. Oh, by the way, and the time component too, because you say time is money. So to me, again, going back to what I constantly talk about on the show, which is capital and labor relations, the fact that time spent working at an enterprise should count as money, basically. Mm-hmm. That your opportunity cost of possibly getting exploited somewhere else should be compensated by equity in the enterprise. Mm-hmm. So that sounds pretty radical to some people, but I feel like that would solve a lot of our problems.
Well, it's like we were talking about the other day behind the scenes. Strippers can make $100,000 a year, but social workers make like 35.
35. Yeah. And they have to have a master's degree.
And they got a master's degree.
You got to pay for it somehow.
$50,000 to $100,000
So if you give a shit and you want to help your fellow person, right, in America, your brothers and sisters all around us, and we're all Americans, and you want to help them, you have to go to school, raise a massive amount of debt for school, then you get paid shit to help them. Yet the stripper will probably get mad respect because they have a lot of money, and you could be like a human trafficker and it doesn't matter. You probably get more respect than the social worker actually helping people versus a human trafficker trafficking people. But if the trafficker has more money and they can afford a better tip or a nice better car, or get better anything. Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Bam. That's how it goes, man. That's our society. If you don't like society, help change it. Be the change you want to see, and continue coming to the Void and being part of the fellowship.
Never problems, only solutions.
That we seek solution. It's a fellowship of rationality, I hope. Mm-hmm. And if not, if we're slipping, dump it in the comments. Yeah. I'm waiting to be caught slipping. So let's see. All right. So what do we got? Dale's. Hey, Dale, what's up, man? An old friend of mine, Dale, says sometimes time investment gives you return in experience and learning. Intangibles.
Yes. Like that. Not everything is going to result into money or profit. Sometimes you're going to have to take some losses, but those losses are going to propel you forward. So you can't measure everything in terms of dollars. Like, oh, I got a bonus this year. I got another raise. You got to look at growth in other areas of your life as well. You got to look around. It's like, oh, what kind of people am I hanging out with?
Well, I think. How
am I spending my Wednesday nights?
But I think we only society, I think, does this thing where they only validate things that can be matriculated, that can have some kind of metric tied to it.
We're doing a podcast. We got
5 people.
5 people out of the billions of people.
Billions.
We could easily be sitting on the couch drinking a beer.
By the way, tell your friends
nothing.
We have some time left on the show.
But we're making the conscious choice to be here.
Yeah, that's true.
Right now.
And you as well as a live audience. Now,
as the audience
now
is
some
choosing
people
to
are,
be here.
yeah, they're jumping in on the
because they see some sort of value in spending their time here, which their time is valuable. They could be doing anything right now.
Yes.
But you spend your time where you find the most value.
Indeed.
Or with the people that you find value in.
I remember back when I was working on the phones and making, working overtime and stuff, I used to motivate myself to do more overtime instead of playing video games by imagining that there was like this butler, like Jeeves kind of thing, dressed up in the like butler tux kind of thing with the coattails and whatever. And he'd be like holding his hand out and be like, whatever the overtime rate was for the hour that I spent playing Call of Duty or something was like Jeeves saying, like $28, please. For like every hour that I spent fucking off instead of, like going and working overtime or something like that. I mean, that sort of like sums up opportunity cost. However, I think it's better to try to like bust yourself out of the wage slave model.
But I mean, you can make money playing video games nowadays.
Nowadays, yes.
Now you can do streaming, like if you're into that.
But I mean, you're competing with PewDiePie.
I mean, if you love playing video games, I mean, you could turn on think about it. You could turn on your phone on your commute to work. You could Uber. You can make $20 a day Ubering. You can make $10 streaming. $30 a day times 365. That's $9,000 extra in your pocket. There's a $9,000 raise right there. Uber to and from work, drive someone, make $20 a day Ubering, make $10 streaming. $30 a day more is $9,000 a year. Think about 100, 200.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
That does add up.
If you're like, I'm only gonna make 35. Well, you can make 42 easily. Just stop being so lazy. All you gotta do is pull out your phone and turn on an app, set your destination, and they'll only let you pick up people on your way to work. So it's not even going out of your way. All the work's done. All you gotta do is press 3 buttons.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
And who knows who you might meet on that ride? That
too, right? There's another intangible that has mad value is the fact that you meet people, but you have to be personable.
Well, if you're not personable, you can practice your people skills with complete strangers, and if you mess up, it's no big deal.
How about would you say? How do people become self-aware enough to know that they need that help?
You just gotta want it. Then you gotta look at other people and ask, hey, like, what have you done?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like I was an introvert.
What do you think prevents people from doing that?
Get too comfortable, scared of failure. They don't want to lose what they already have because they work so hard for it.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme,
they get pot committed.
The grand scheme things, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's like if you started with 0 and you start with 0 now, I bet you can get everything that you had faster because you know so much more.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's not going to take you as much time to get the same amount.
And that goes back to what Dale said about like sometimes the time investment gives you something other than the money.
Well, you got to know when to fold too.
Yeah, know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
You got to fold. Like I'm not saying you go all in on every single thing that you want to do, but if you are committed to something and you are putting your own hard-earned time and money into it, you will be rewarded if you're coming from the right angle. Not just like, oh, I want to be rich and famous and blah, blah, blah. You want to be like Oprah. You want the world to hear your voice.
Yeah.
It's a lot more powerful.
Well, and I think something, if you couple that with the idea that like, let's say you just dedicated yourself to cramming and hustling hardcore for like a year and you did like the Uber and even what Josh is describing isn't even really hardcore, but
I Uber.
Yeah. Like, there you go. He Ubers. I was doing Uber Eats for a while.
No, I won't fuck with Uber Eats.
I don't like Uber Eats.
I'm not doing people's food.
Yeah.
I don't want someone yelling at me because I forgot the ranch.
Well, that becomes actually the fault of the restaurant.
Well, then you're shifting accountability and
yeah, that's true.
But staying on track, like listen, $20 extra a day Ubering.
Yeah, so the point being that there's ways, even Uber Eats is a way that you can do that. But wait, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So what's important about that? Well, first of all, the hustle. Like if you're hustling, what's the end game? So one of the things that you could do, and the biggest What's the biggest excuse you hear from people about starting a business?
It's too hard. I don't have enough money.
Okay, yeah, not enough money. A lot of times,
Not enough money.
And here's the thing: if you came up with $9,000 from hustling for a year, and you had a business plan, an actual business plan, which you can find templates all over the place, and through the SBA, and through
And
Score,
you can use your
Score.
401k and borrow
And
money.
if you wanted to use your 401k, you can use that as well. And there's ways that you could do it without
you borrow it, and you pay interest back to yourself.
Exactly. So there's ways,
and that's how you leverage.
Yeah, there's ways for you to do this. So it's just really about what is it that you want to do that other people don't have the will, skill, or time to do, and then go find that business. It doesn't have to be a unique widget. You don't have to reinvent anything. You can have a direct competitor, but your feasibility plan has to be what is it that sets you apart from that competitor? Hopefully not that you just undercut them.
I mean, you can't be like, what's your business? Oh, I make beer. It's like, that's not a very compelling story.
Right. There's so many people making beer. So
why did you say to start making beer? It's like, well, I like drinking beer, and then I became allergic to it. Then I realized there was a way that we could brew it where people who have this sort of condition or health consciousness, and I came up with this new brewing strategy. I don't know, getting a little off tangent there, but you gotta differentiate yourself.
Like if you're making like Fat Tire, which just got bought by, I'm pretty sure. I just saw an article. Fat Tire or the people that brew Fat Tire.
New Belgium. Yeah,
New Belgium just got bought for a lot of money. But that's the thing. New Belgium didn't just, they made beer that was set apart. Something about their beer. I don't know what their value statement is.
If you want to be a business owner, it's not about making income. It's about building up your revenue. And if you are a $10 million company making revenue and you're paying yourself nothing, you can sell that at a multiple 2 to 3, 5 times that. And that's how you get paid. Yeah,
I mean, that's something to think about too, is basically you're building a machine. So it's like people are really they can totally digest this idea that if someone built a motorcycle or a car in their garage and someone was driving it around, that it was totally like, oh, I'm going to buy this and it's going to function and take me from point A to point B. But like a business is like a machine that, chugs out profits is really what it's supposed to do. So it really, what it does is it chugs out a service or a product, but at the tail end somewhere, at least 10% somehow, some way to you probably, it's producing some profit. So you just create this machine, just like you could sell a motorcycle or sell a car that you made yourself, you can sell this business. And just like a car or motorcycle, number one, it has to be pretty awesome, good branding, look good, right? And you have to perform well, right? So, if you're getting a car and it's supposed to be a sports car and it doesn't, like, it's slow, then that's going to suck ass and no one's going to pay any money for it. Or if it's supposed to be a show car and it looks like ass, then no one's going to pay for it, right? So same with your business. If you're running a business and it's like actually not making any revenue and you're not actually providing services and you're not actually, and it's basically like a Ponzi scheme or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Then obviously that's not going to work, right? And
I mean, if we look at Tesla, here's a chart. I was pulling this up. Revenue, lots of revenue, but no earnings. Tesla's never made money as a company, but people still believe in it.
Because they're able to offset it by depreciation and
of course, but people think you need to be profitable to make money, right? Which you don't.
Yeah, you just need the machine. And sometimes in fact, there's tax methods that hide the profits so that you aren't profitable per anybody, but yet here you are with your lavish mansion and your car and whatever shit.
So I think the key takeaway is, use your time wisely, stop making excuses, and have a powerful purpose and why you want to do something before you decide to do it.
Well,
don't become a real estate agent just because you think real estate agents make a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, exactly. Or become a doctor just because doctors make money or something like that. Like, if you have no passion for it,
you become part of the system.
But you know what bringing up passion and all that stuff, what gets me is, and this is again why people get neurotic about stuff, because they hear so many conflicting things from charlatans. Let me give you an example. Fucking Mike Rowe. Yeah, I'll drop his name. And
Mike Rowe, who's that?
Let him sue me and get me that bad publicity. Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Oh.
You guys know Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. So Mike Rowe did this. If you don't know Mike Rowe, R-O-W-E, he had this show called Dirty Jobs. So he would go and wear a little, John Deere hat and pretend like he gave a shit about actually working a hard job, and go and good old boy his way into like raking some muck or sucking out like a grease trap at a high school, and it stinks so bad and and he fucks around with it for like 2 hours, and then he pretends like, oh, look at me, I'd work these hard jobs. Let me give you advice on how it's like to work these hard jobs. Don't chase your passion. Bring your passion with you. Oh yeah, you don't want to take over your dad's pig farm. It's okay. It's an opportunity for you. Bring your passion with you. Don't chase your passion. I'm like, oh really, Mike Rowe? What the fuck are you doing? Are you really slopping muck? No, you're a fucking actor. Why? Because you chased your fucking passion, fuckhead. Yeah? I hate that shit. The fucker gets paid all this money, and people buy into this idea that they should succumb to the pressures of whatever the fuck, right? And so they only live one life.
Yeah, one life.
You live one life. Those minutes you can't get back. And that fucker Mike Rowe, who chased his passion of acting and doing all that fuckery, right? He does that, which is great. He's successful at it. He should say, yeah, chase your passion. Look at me. But no, he turns it around because Koch brother money, actually real Koch brother money.
He took the easy way out.
He took the money, and they want to push a narrative that says, don't go chase after what you want to do. Go be a wage slave, because we need you to work the mines, or we need you to make paper for us.
We need the workers.
Or we need the workers.
I need the workers.
Yes.
So I'm going to be selfish.
And so he came up with like a 13-point thing about how basically to put your head down and just fucking work. Stop dreaming about shit and work. And I think that's a fucked up way of. I mean, there's people that sort of buy into that and preach that, and it becomes a really hard. It's hard to go take these risks, I think. And when you have that background noise, especially from family and friends and stuff.
It's hard to watch all of your accounts going
trickling down. Yeah,
and now you know how retired people feel because they're used to producing income.
Yeah, some of these
watching
people,
their accounts grow.
They're afraid of living too long,
and their income. They're just watching it. Trickle.
Imagine that.
So it's a changing your mindset.
Imagine you're afraid to live too long because your account balance is too low. That your life is becoming a hindrance to you.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that?
I don't know if I have enough money to live.
Yeah, that's the kind of world we're living in. So, as much as we can, if you
feel like that was a great way to pull everything together.
If you guys have questions about that kind of stuff, make sure to ask. Because that's what we try to do. We uncover the truth, not only the truth of social issues of any kind of shit, because that's just what we do here. It's a fellowship of truth, but we also will talk about financial shit and basically anything that we know. Thou shalt know.
Yeah, it's just anything to make your life, anything to improve your life.
Of knowledge. All right, let's see what other info do we have. Brandon Rith says, "Well, we'll never default. Fed will just print money forevs." Right?
Yeah, and that's this whole trade.
Do you think the Fed is forevs? That
we
will forever have the Fed?
Most likely. I remember back at school we took
forever.
We took this forever. We might have have computers as the Fed in the future.
How about more than 2 decades from now?
We'll still have it.
We'll still have it. 20 years from now. We'll still have it. 20 years from now, over and under. Start calculating. Whether or not we'll have a Fed. I don't know. I mean, what if there was a civil war in 10 years?
Civil war with who? What states?
Not states.
Is it going to be East-West? Is it going to be like Biggie and Tupac?
It's going to be a philosophical.
Philosophical.
So everyone's going to be potentially an enemy.
Well, I mean,
everywhere, all around you.
What's currently happening is the trade war is a currency war, and then currency war leads to real war.
Yeah, right.
That's what always happens.
Well, trade war and any resource war can lead to real war, right?
Of course. Yeah. So, but most major money managers have gone 100% long the stock market right now. So anticipate things probably to get a good bump, especially going into election season. That's when things typically, we get a nice push, and James has more experience than me. I'm sure he can remember. You get a nice push, things are going well, and then all of a sudden, at a snap of a finger, earnings are good, but prices start going down for some reason because Wall Street's not concerned with whether you're profitable or not, and that's why Richard Branson took Virgin back private. Yeah, they used to be public. He'd beat earnings. They'd be profitable. Stock price would get going down. He didn't want to deal with it anymore, so that's why he brought it private. Burger King's private. So that's why some companies, it doesn't make sense to go public. So we typically get a big push and then, be like, oh, beat earnings or met earnings. And then prices will go down. Prices will go down. And then it's just a slow compounding effect. And now in this day and age of algorithm trading, that can, speed up the process. Yeah. But it can also shorten the process of the pain because the algorithms will pull in and be like, oh, this is the bottom point. And they'll start buying it back up. So it'll start pushing it. So it works on both sides of the table. But I think algorithm and computer trading is safer because it prevents people from just saying, hey, we got more money than them, and just pushing the button and then doing a short squeeze. It's called a short squeeze, squeezing someone out.
Well, but when we combine things like the high frequency trading or algorithms, directing these trades, and we compound that with that type of short squeeze, or
and this is the most money our economy's ever had.
Yeah, like
this is the highest the stock market's ever been. So this is the most amount of money that's been in it. So even if it goes down 10%, it'll be the largest loss in terms of dollars. So it's like, if you own a company, Mark Cuban always said, do you want 100% of a grape or 1% of a watermelon? Like, do you want something that's a small or something that's large? It's better to have 1% of something large than 100% of something small. So even if the market goes down 10%, it'll be the worst 10% loss in history because we've never been where we are before. And that's how the news will sell it. Yeah, right. Because fear sells.
Right. Well, and plus that 10%, it's going to represent, in volume wise, it will be larger.
It'll be the largest. Yeah. That's also because we've grown as an economy.
But there's also something I think folks out there, the 6 total folks out of the billions out there, that the stock market, and it isn't necessarily correlated to real wages per se directly. In fact, your stock for your company could be going up while people aren't getting paid anymore. In fact, it could be going up because they're getting paid less. Yeah. So
cut costs.
Yeah, cut costs, and now your stock goes up. And so when they say, "Oh, stock market's going up," so therefore we should feel good as normal people that aren't invested in the stock market.
Not necessarily.
It doesn't necessarily correlate. So folks out there, keep your head and wits about you because a lot of that is fake ass shit.
We got any questions?
All right.
On the boards?
Here we go. Never default. Brandon Riss says, then we'll be using cash as firewood instead of defaulting. I mean, inflation definitely is a big thing. I wonder. I think something catastrophic is going to happen before we get.
I mean, technically, only a small portion of the world's cash is in circulation. Most of it's just
hoarded
numbers on a computer screen.
Oh yes, you mean just recorded.
Cash doesn't even really exist that much more. Yeah. And that was the big problem in 2007, 2008. Is ATMs were at the point where they didn't have any cash to dispense. Like if you went in, like, I want $20 to, I need $20 when you're going through the grocery store. It was almost at the point where, like, sorry, out of money.
Yeah. Well, and then anytime there's a run on the banks or something like that, yeah, they're going to run short.
Because when it comes down
cash.
to it, the corporations are going to protect themselves. They're not going to care about the people.
They're not going to care about the people. That's why, hey, brothers and sisters out there, watch out for people who practically protect corporations with no restraint. They do not care about you. They are not humans. I don't care if corporations are legal persons. They are not human beings. They are not your brothers and sisters. They are perpetrators. They're fake. They're
Charlatans.
Not real. Charlatans.
That's the fancy SAT word, charlatans.
That's right. Charlatans.
I told someone people are charlatans and they didn't know what it meant.
Well,
so
there's
it's a big word for
perhaps
some
they
people.
stayed away from that word on purpose because it was too reflective. Let's see. So superfan Chris says, by the way, I was referring to the crash from 10 years ago. What was he talking about?
Yeah, we just spoke about that.
You never want to be the best control. Oh, I think one of your messages got for some reason it's saying, superfan Chris, you're saying your messages were
Did we answer your question, Chris?
Retracted about the crash.
Yeah, we spoke about that. How
I don't know, man. I don't think all the crashes can be predicted. I mean, these guys, a lot of people were going long real estate, for instance. We have real estate crash back in the day in 08. You know what I mean? So,
well, this next one's not going to happen until after the election.
Yeah.
Typically, they happen after an election.
Yeah.
Historically speaking.
Well, what do you think? If Trump wins, do you think there will be the same kind of crash? Or do you think the
it just might be a delayed crash?
Reward America.
Well, what will happen is a Trump win, and this is not a political statement. I'm just saying a Trump win signals a good sign for the market, so that'll push the market up, but then it'll just start coming back down. So, for example, let's just say if we start, January 1, stock market goes up 20% in a month, and then ends the year negative. People are going to only look from the high of their accounts and see where it ended up. Be like, oh, the accounts did terrible. Well, you only lost 5%. But most people are looking at the high point versus looking, oh, man, I started investing 30 years ago with $5,000, and now it's worth $300,000.
So the way I interpret that is if in January your accounts go up to 20, you should sell short everything at that point because it will surely drop.
I'm not endorsing that message.
I'm just kidding. But
that's how people look at it. They look,
that's something to think about.
You go from $1 to $1.50. You're like, I'm at $1.50, and you go from $1.50 to 80 cents. That's a huge. So they're like, oh, I lost half.
Yeah.
Well, no, you started here.
Right. If you started like at $1, for instance.
So I mean, it says like if people just forget where they came from. And investing is like driving. You would be looking forward, not through the rearview mirror.
Oh, yes. Please remember that, everybody. There are 5 people on YouTube, 1 person on Facebook. One thing to remember is future. Oh, what's that statement? That past earnings don't predict
past
future
performance
returns.
Doesn't indicate future results.
Bam.
Which also says
doesn't indicate future results. Or guarantee future results.
Yeah, I also like talking about if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. You got to be present on what's happening now. So you can't be depressed on, oh, I lost this money. You can't be anxious on, oh, I want to get all this money. You got to be like, what's going on now? How can I maximize this moment? Yeah,
I mean that's something really powerful for the folks here. Remember that and I think that depression really, you can sum it up, you're living in the past, and how can you look forward if you're always looking back? And it sounds really cliche and sort of cheesy, but it's totally true.
It's like the high school athlete, superstar athlete, and then they never make it. They're always gonna be looking back at high school. Oh, those were the best days of my life.
I know some folks like that.
And it's like, man, the best days of your life were 2 years out of your life.
Well, isn't that sort of that would be sort of sad to say.
That is sad.
By the end of their
versus
life.
It's like, oh, I'm growing a business.
And
it took me 20 years to get there, but I finally got there, and that was the best 20 years of my life. And now that I'm there, we're gonna get even better the next 20.
Right.
So always growing, getting 1% better or 1% worse.
Yeah,
Every
and
day.
I think something that people don't realize is that growth can hurt. Growing
It's
pains
supposed to hurt.
is a term for a reason.
Your brain keeps you safe. That's why you don't want to get out of bed. If you don't leave your house, you can't get eaten by a bear.
Yeah, that's true. So there's that mental sort of blockage.
That's why when it's cold, you don't want to go outside.
Right, physically, when it's cold, people don't want to go outside. Even if they could bundle up and all that stuff, they don't care. They don't want to go outside.
Oh, it's a hassle.
Or when it's really really hot.
Yeah.
In fact, you could be naked and go outside in this Florida heat and be sticky and gross and all that shit. And so, so you have an aversion to that from your body in a physical sense. And I think what Josh is saying is like, even in the mental sense,
you gotta trick it.
I think too that the worst is, people people have a zeal to learn, but I think what they don't have a zeal to learn about is themselves.
So why is it if a kid fails a class, like you're like discouraged to do that? It's like, hey, like you don't understand it now, but you can get it the next time. Do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah. Well, I think why? Why do you think it is?
I mean, the teacher isn't underpaid, or they just don't care. Like, oh, this, I'm not going to waste my time.
How about stuff like, why are so many people afraid to leave?
That could be a next topic we talk about.
What?
What you're just talking about now.
What?
Continue that thought.
The one I'm saying now?
Yeah.
Why are so many people afraid?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great way that we talk about.
Are you hinting that you want to end the show?
A little bit. I'm a little tired. I'm not lying.
I'm reading between the lines. Well, I was thinking that too because it is getting late. It is 10:19 on the eastern side of the United States.
When you wake up at 5, man, 10 o'clock's late.
Okay, so let's wrap up a couple comments real quick.
No, but I think that's a great discussion. Moving forward.
Yes. Okay, so maybe next week, unless you guys come up with a different topic.
Why are people afraid?
Yeah, why is it that people are afraid to leave their
naked
wage
and
job?
Afraid?
And some of these guys are cubicle queens. Some folks are. Hey, one thing to realize, and I had a friend of mine. I think when I was talking about labor versus capital or labor relations, they were like, "Well, labor jobs are gone." I'm like, oh, when I say labor, I mean you could be making $1 million as a what?
W-2.
A W-2. What are you? You're labor. You're an employee.
You're paying almost half in taxes.
Either you're an owner or you're labor. That's what I mean. Do you own the business or do you work for the business? There's only two. You could be making $1 billion a year. Guess what?
Still you're an employee.
And you are wage. You could be salary. It doesn't give. If you don't have equity and ownership in that business, you're a wage earner.
There's only one
a laborer.
There is one cool thing about being an employee is if you're an employee and all your money is in your 401k, you never have to take it out. It's a loophole for your retirement. So if you become super wealthy, you should become an employee somewhere and move all your money into a 401k and work there.
Can you be an employee of your own company?
No, you can't be your own company. You have to be an employee.
Somewhere else.
Just a little.
What if you sell your company?
You got to be an employee.
And then got rehired at the company.
I don't know. That might be something we look into.
Well, 401k does have contribution limits too. So, selling off your business only to get rehired by your business just to save your 401k. There's got to be something
forcing
silly.
You to take money out.
I know, but still, I feel like that's still doing a lot of shit just so that you don't have to.
Hey, some people want to hoard all their money.
I guess. But you're like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Topic for a different
day. Why are people so afraid? So what did he say? What did we say? Referring 10 years. Dale Smith says exactly. Build it piece by piece. What were we talking about? Build it. I should pay more attention to the comments. Do you think the dollar will collapse? Good. Maybe
probably not.
Talk tomorrow. From early gas has moved to crash. We're talking about. Yeah. Okay. I answered it. Student loan crash. Do you think student loan crash? Is there such a thing? What would happen? What would it be a student loan crash? The student loan people don't get paid back. Ooh. Right. Ooh. No. Is that going to crash our economy?
It's something they talk about, but I don't think it's really a big deal. As long as people are paying on their student loans, like, for example, you can have $1 in student loans and you just keep paying the interest, but you never pay off the student loan. Now, technically, you still have that dollar in debt, but you're still paying on the loan's still good because you're still technically making your payments, even if the principal's not going down.
Yeah. Touche.
You can technically drag that out for as long as you want.
Yeah, it's being dragged out for a lot of
And it will be dragged out, and I'm sure something will happen. They'll find a renegotiation or refinance or structure a deal and make something happen. I mean, it honestly falls on the universities. They're for-profit companies, essentially.
Yeah.
Send your kid to our school, pay $40,000 a year.
But, I don't know. That in of itself is, there's a lot of, sure, there's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of things that are,
we're all taught to go to college. Most people go to college, get a bullshit degree, and come out and don't know anything.
Tis true. All right, so
I appreciate it.
Another
being on the Boyd
episode
again.
of the Boyd. That's right.
2 nights in a row.
Josh on the show. If you guys like having Josh on the show, please make sure to comment. Check out his.
James may not have me back again.
Yeah, I'll banish him from the show. Make sure to check out. Oh, I should have put the link in the description. Next time I will. I don't know if
the millennialslackersguide.com.
The millennial. Here, I'm going to put it in the comments section. The
www.themillennialslackersguide.com. Teach you about adult subjects so that you don't get taken advantage of, and we write about business, money,
and not
health,
that kind of adult subject, Daniel.
Yeah, not
financial stuff and like life
business,
stuff,
money, health,
not
relationships.
The kind you're used to.
Adulting stuff.
All right, let's see. The millennial slacker, like that.
Slackers guide, plural.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay. Looks right.
There we go.
It comes up on Google.
So Google it. Let me dump it.
Oh yeah, see, it's got the logo. You did it right.
The logo and everything. Bam. And yes, thanks again. And again, if you have a topic or I don't know, whatever question, just make sure to drop it on the comments. And yes.
Peace out.
Peace out indeed.
Peace and love.
And thank you for joining us on another episode of The Boyd. Deuces.